The Eighth Amendment states that excessive bail should not be required, nor excessive fines imposed, nor cruel and unusual punishments inflicted.
The 14th Amendment states that no state shall deprive any person of life, liberty, or property without due process of a law, nor deny to any person within their jurisdiction the equal protection of their law.
Gregg versus Georgia in 1976 was a Supreme Court case in which capital punishment was a major subject. Capital punishment is a punishment by death, the death penalty. For a long time, capital punishment was questionable in regards to its constitutionality. In a previous case, the Supreme Court faced the issue of capital punishment. Said case, Furman versus Georgia in 1972, struck down state law that upheld the death penalty. However, it wasn't due to being cruel and unusual punishment. Rather, the court got rid of those laws because they gave too much discretion to judges and jurors in regards of whether or not the death penalty should be issued.
The two-step approach, however, is constitutional. In the case of Gregg versus Georgia in 1976, the court deemed the punishment of death does not violate the Constitution. It ruled that well-drawn two-step laws can practically eliminate the chance of it being implemented arbitrarily or inappropriately.
Since that decision, Congress in 38 states passed new capital punishment laws. Said laws took two forms. Some states made the death penalty mandatory for specific crimes such as murder of the policeman, murder committed during rape, kidnapping, or assaultion, among other crimes. Other states put forward a two-step process for capital cases. First, a trial to settle the issue of guilt or innocence. Then, for the convicted, a second hearing to verify whether the circumstances justify a possible death sentence.
The penalty itself wasn't unconstitutional. Rather, it was the random way it was applied that made it cruel and unusual. In the case, Troy Gregg had been found guilty of murder and armed robbery and was therefore sentenced to death. He asked for the Supreme Court to go further into the previous Furman case and deemed the death penalty unconstitutional. The court refused. They had ruled Georgia's system for applying the death penalty as judicious and careful. Gregg underwent two trials, one for guilt and sentencing respectfully. Therefore, further, specific jury findings were necessary to impose the death penalty. Therefore, the Eighth Amendment wasn't violated and the penalty wasn't unconstitutional.